All right. So, in your notes, this right here is what we just did. Okay. We're starting here. And I know it's all like connected and complicated and intertwined. Are you ready? Because if you're not paying attention, it's very easy to get lost. Okay. Hinduism. Hinduism, remember, is very polytheistic. Here you have Brahma, you should have answered it. It will be on your test. I know because the tests are already written. You have Vishnu, and then you have Shiva, the. Guys, you got to know these three: creator, preserver, destroyer. Okay, tied to Hinduism is the belief in reincarnation. Oops, wrong button. There we go. Reincarnation is the rebirth of the soul. I often have kids who say, oh, it's when the body gets reborn. No, it's when your soul gets reborn, okay, into a totally different body. You could, in your next life, if you're a boy, you could be a girl this time. If you are rich, you could be poor, whatever, okay? You get reborn into a different body. The body that you get reborn into is based on this right here, your karma, how you lived, the collection of good or bad that you did during life. There is no in between. Were you a good person or were you a bad person? Everybody does some good, everybody does some bad. But the collection of your works, are you good or are you bad? You've all heard the saying, what goes around comes around. That's a karma type saying. The idea that if you treat people well, good things will happen to you. If you do badly or if you treat people bad, bad things will come your way. That's what that means, basically. Okay? That being said, when you die, if you had good karma, your next life will be better than your previous life. If you were a bad boy or girl and you have bad karma, then your next life after you've died will be worse. Okay? All of that is tied to the caste system. All of this is tied together and integrated, okay, which makes it complicated. The caste system, as you should have learned last year, is the social classes of India. Sorry. These are not social classes like in America. In America, you can start out poor and work your way up and become rich before you die. Not here. There is no movement in the caste system until you die. If you start poor, you are going to die poor. Your family will always be poor. Always. If you start rich or upper class, you will always be upper class. What if we lose all of our wealth? So you're still at the top of society. Even if we have no money, yeah. Your family will stay there. There is no movement. I've mentioned before, I always have kids who ask about marriage, intermarrying between castes. No. Merchants do not marry warriors. But what if they did? They didn't. Because that would negatively affect your karma. And if your karma is negatively affected, you're going to move down a social class in your next life. Okay, listen. Hopefully, my plan is, again, I don't know how we're going back to school. Like, I don't know what we're doing. I don't know. I don't know. My plan is to teach this in class and this not be something that you have on your own virtual because it is complicated. If you're watching this video because you missed the day that I did this in class and you're confused, come see me. I've told you before, there is no shame in going, okay, what? There is shame in going, yeah, I get it, and then getting a 5 on the test because you didn't get it. So this is complicated. If you're watching this as a video and you're like, huh, come see me because I do think it's easier. You know how I use you guys while we like role play in class? I do think it's easier to explain this using you guys in class. So if you have questions, come see me. Okay, the castes. Again, I have to reiterate, you cannot move up or down a caste during life. Your next life, when you have been reincarnated, you'll move up and down based on your karma. But during life, there's no moving up or down. None. That's it. None. In ancient India, it was not an option. I mean, obviously things are different today, but in ancient India, not an option. Okay? So, at the top of society, you have the Brahmins. Sometimes you'll see it spelled with an A right here. Okay? I don't care because you'll see it both ways. The Brahmins. That should remind you of this word right here. That's because the Brahmins are the priests. The typically you'll hear guru used in Hinduism, the priests. Okay, they are the religious men. There are women in the Brahmin caste. I mean, there has to be, or there won't be any kids. But the girls, their job is to do what? Take care of the house, take care of the kids, take care of the husband. That's their job. There are a few priestesses, but it's not the norm in any way, shape, or form. Okay, so the Brahmin, there are women in this caste, but again, they hold a. I mean, they're still Brahmin women, but their job is to produce kids. Their job isn't to be a priest. Okay. The next lowest caste, I mean, the next highest caste, sorry, the warrior caste. Okay, just like with the Brahmin, there are women in the warrior caste, but they're not going to war. But there's a female goddess that's a war goddess. I know Kali's famous as a war goddess. I know that. But the women are not going to war. Okay? The women are producing more little warrior babies. That's kind of their job. Let me say this too. If we go to war, okay, in India and ancient India, it's not just the warriors that go to war. You're going to have people from these castes also that go to war. Absolutely. But they're not the upper level warriors. We see this social class in medieval Europe too, in ancient Japan too. They're called samurai, or in Europe, they're called knights. These are just the elite warriors. They're not the farmer guy who's taken his pitchfork to fight a war. We don't just take the warriors. We have peasant warriors too, but the warrior class is its own social class, and they're pretty important, which should tell you what's important to the Aryans. Underneath the Aryans, the warriors, you have a class here. This is where kids mess up on their test. On your test, you're going to have a place where you have to put the castes in order. And this right here is where kids mess up. The merchant farmers. They are one social class. What a lot of the time kids do is they'll put merchants at number 3 and farmers at number 4. And then they're like, wait a minute. What did I do wrong? It's a test. I'm not telling you. Merchant farmers, one social class in the middle. Okay. Merchants sell stuff. You could lump artisans in here too. Artisans, the people that make the stuff, the shoemaker, the dressmaker, whatever. And then the farmers. They're lumped in. This isn't like, well, I'll get there later. Okay, look. All 3 of these social classes, the people group, they are all Aryans. They are all Aryan Indians. All of them. Brahmin, warrior, merchants, and farmers. They're all Aryan Indians. Okie dokie. All of them. You do not have native Indians up here. If you're a native Indian, your only option is to be an untouchable or a Shudra. That's it. That's it. I just noticed. I'm sorry. Ooh. Oops. I just noticed here. You'll see that a lot too. And you probably called, I think that's how you spell it. You probably called the untouchables the Dalit last year. Yeah, I just wanted to make sure that was how you spelled it. So I just noticed that. So these bottom 2 levels right here are native Indians. You're going to have to know that on your test. It's not a bad idea to write it. Remember, please remember, these notes are just the bones of what you need for this class. You should be writing in other stuff as I teach. You should have written in stuff like up here, Shiva the Destroyer, parentheses, most worshipped. You should write in some of this stuff. Just be aware. Because next year, you don't have notes given to you like this. The teacher speaks and you write. Heck yeah, man. Okay, so the last 2, native Indians. Okay. Now, number 4, in America, we typically refer to this group as the non-Aryans. It's just like everybody else, but really they're called the Shudra. Shudra. I don't care what you call it. On your test, if you put non-Aryans, okay. If you put Shudra, okay. Because it's, I mean, you're going to hear that all the time in America. Non-Aryans. These are the poor, and they have like low-level city jobs, like street sweeper or water gatherer or servants, or I'm trying to think of some of the things. Oh, sewer people, bless their hearts. Or they just have low level, poor, usually city jobs. Okay. Not fun things. And then at the bottom, you have the Dalit, or in America, we typically call them the untouchables. Now, I also have kids that typically mess this up too, because in their mind, they put the untouchables at the top because they think, oh, they're so amazing. They're untouchable. You can't touch them. No, they're considered so ugh that nobody wants to touch them. That is so sad. Some pictures. Okay, so here we have our Hindu gods. Brahma, the creator. Vishnu, the preserver. Shiva, the destroyer. Did you get it right from earlier? We have Aryans. Okay. Brahmin. This is the social class of the Brahmin. Okay, I'm going to try where I can show you some pictures, like historical and modern. In some cases, I can't find some of them, but I did my best. Okay, so here we have Brahmin. Again, what we in the West would think of as a priest. Okay, And y'all, Hindu art is very like symbolic. I don't know what all of it means. I know some of it. I don't know all of it. Here's a modern Brahmin. I think it's such a cool look. You know what's creepy to me though? Did you even notice? And like, I don't get freaked out by snakes. And I'm very well aware that's not real. But I still don't want to wear it on my head. Even though I don't get freaked out by them. There we have a Brahmin, the priest class, the upper class. Brahmin. I wonder what river that is. And y'all, I don't know if this picture was taken on the Ganges River. I don't know. It's just the Holy River, so I would assume. Oh, it can't be. Well, it could be. I was gonna say if this is Pakistan, which it kind of looks like to me. Well, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know where this picture was taken. So you have writing in the background. I don't know. This is what we do in AP when we analyze pictures. I don't know. I just stole it. Just stole it from online. Okay. Oh, sheesh. I can't move it. There we go. Okay. Warrior, social class. Look at his mustache. Isn't that cool? Warrior, social class. I have some other warrior pictures. Oh, I can't make this one bigger. Sorry. Oops. Oh my gosh, that's another small one. Sorry. I can't make this one bigger. Merchant farmer, social class. This is obviously a merchant. And see, like, I mean, he looks nice. Even though he's kind of like the middle class we would think of it today, they have wealth, absolutely. This right here is showing you two different social classes. So over here we have the merchant farmers. They look nice. And then over here, we're getting into the non-Aryans, the Shudra. Water carrier. Um, Today, I don't know, but today I doubt this is a thing. I would assume the big cities of India have running water, right? But historically speaking, you didn't have running water. If you wanted water, you had to go down to the river to get it. Well, she ain't going. So she might pay her a coin or something to go to the river and get water for the day. So water carriers. This guy, I don't know what he's doing. I don't know what he's carrying. That's a fan. Probably not for him. Probably he's a servant, but who knows? This is also showing you different social classes. Here, I can't tell what this is. I don't know for sure what this social class is. Definitely an Aryan, but you have a servant following him around, and this would be an untouchable here, begging. Oh, I can't make this picture bigger. Darn it! Well, I show this. This is one of the pictures I use in class with you guys. For the Shudra, this is a servant. He's giving her a bath, washing her feet, whatever. Or maybe that's a man. I don't know. But he's definitely a servant. Sewer. Ancient India actually had pretty decent sewers compared to, other historical ancient civilizations. They had pretty decent sewers. But, I mean, stuff gets clogged, right? So a lot of Shudra work in that kind of gross job. We're getting to the untouchables, bless their hearts. Job wise, historically speaking, untouchables were hired to do anything. Because the idea was if you touch an untouchable, you are unclean. So you would have to run to a Brahmin and get cleansed. If you touch one and you're unclean, then are you going to hire them to do work for you? So, historically speaking, the untouchables were typically beggars. I mean, look, you can tell this poor guy's starving. Also, typically, not all the time, but typically they live like literally on the outskirts of town, like in tent cities. I mean, they might actually have like little adobe houses, but outside of the actual city limits. Um, in many cases, I'm thinking about specific pictures that I've seen, but in many cases, even outside of the protective city walls. So if you get attacked, who goes first? Of course. It's so sad to treat people that way. I don't know what these women are doing. I've never known. I mean, getting food, definitely, but what are they actually? I don't know what this is. Kids ask me every year. I'm like, I don't know. Food, but what is it? I don't know. They got a dog. Go over here. I got them a dog. He's backwards if you're like, what? His head's over here, see? My big old head was covering his head. Sweet baby. That is so sad. A lot of places where the untouchables live, garbage is not collected, which is what you see here. Um, that breeds disease. In fact, with all this COVID thing, oh my gosh, the number of India COVID positive cases is like crazy. Yeah, part of it is because, they've got such a huge population, of course. But I guarantee part of it is the lowest classes. Absolutely. I mean, that's just sad. Poor baby. It makes me so sad. I wonder if he was like, I don't know, their version of dumpster diving. It's just not how you treat people. You just don't do that to people. It's just sad. Now, today, you're seeing a lot, that's what this is, a lot of protests and a lot of different types of Indians. I mean, look, we can look right here. This is an Aryan Indian, heritage speaking. That's a native Indian, heritage speaking. You can see different types of Indians all in this picture. Okay? But today we are seeing people don't like this. There are people, even upper class people, who say this is wrong. I'm not okay with this. So, like I said before, technically the caste system is illegal. But we do still see the segregation a little bit, actually quite a bit. We do still see it. It's going to take a long time to get those mindsets out of people. But the good thing is, we are starting to see some of the changes. Now, one of the reasons that the untouchables are treated so bad is because of this idea that if you had bad karma, right here, karma, if you had bad karma, your next life, when you are reborn, is going to be worse than it was before. So the mindset with the untouchables and even the Shudra, the non-Aryans, is this. They wouldn't be an untouchable if they had good karma in their past lives. They're an untouchable because that is their punishment. Guys, there isn't an idea of like hell in Hinduism. The idea of hell is being like reborn over and over and over and over and over and over again and living all of these lives. Have you heard people say the phrase, he or she has an old soul? That comes from this, or Buddhist, I know, but it comes from this idea that your soul has been reborn so many times that you're wise. You're maybe kind of tired, soul speaking, spiritually speaking, not physically maybe, but just your soul is tired. Sometimes my soul feels tired, but especially with all this COVID stuff. What about y'all? Just crazy stress, yeah? But the idea is that the untouchables deserve to be treated badly because they've had bad karma in the past. The non-Aryans, the Shudra, deserve to be poor because they've had bad karma in the past. Does that make sense? The goal in Hinduism, the idea, is to have good karma and work your way up to be a Brahmin. As a Brahmin, if you're a bad Brahmin, you could be reborn into a worse social class and have a worse life. Absolutely. They don't believe that Brahmin are all good, okay? But if you are a good Brahmin and you die with good karma, you do not get reborn anymore. Your soul is at rest. Kind of like Buddhism, you experience nirvana. You experience the end of self. Okay, we in the West are more, I don't know, used to Western ideas. And so we're like, so that means you go to heaven? Mm-mm. Nirvana isn't a place, it's a state of being. Your soul just stops being reborn and you experience complete peace. Again, every year, kids sit in class and look up at me and go, so what happens to their soul? Buddhists believe it goes back to the great world soul. You're like, what? Hindus believe whenever Brahma creates things, he takes a piece of himself and puts it in whatever he created. That thing that came from him desires to get back to him. Again, in Western ideas, Christianity and stuff like that, you would have the mindset of, oh, okay, it's your soul, right? Okay, but yes, but your soul, according to them, is a small, tiny piece of Brahma. It wants to get back to him. So when you are a Brahmin and you have good karma, that piece of you, soul, if you will, goes back to Brahma, becomes one with him, and you experience that complete peace. Again, question I always get from kids every year. Okay, and then what? There is no and then what. That's it. But then what happens to you, miss? That's it. You experience this perfect peace for all eternity. That's it. Perfect peace, perfect calm. Are you with me? It's like, I guess in the West, some people have the mindset of when I die, I will sleep forever. I guess it's the same type idea. You just cease to exist and you experience perfect peace because your soul that has been trying to get back to Brahma is back to Brahma. That's the end goal. That's the purpose in Hinduism. And it's all tied. It gets complicated because it is all tied together with reincarnation, karma, and the caste system, which is part of why it's been so hard to get rid of the caste system in people's minds. The caste system is tied to the religion of Hinduism. If you have questions, please come ask. Please. Don't just sit here at your computer and be like, nobody will know, nobody will know. I'll know on your test. I'll know in your writing assignments. I'll know in your essays. Ugh. Essays, miss? Duh. Yeah. Okay. That's it. Bye.